And now, here to entertain you all, because every day he's hustling. Side Hustle Cinema.
Welcome back to the channel, Side Hustle Cinema here. Today we're going to be taking a look at Krampus on 4K, the Naughty Cut. We'll talk a little bit about the movie, spoiler free of course. We'll talk a little bit about the packaging, the special features, the audio and the video, and I'll have some comparison shots with an older release of the Blu-ray, not the Scream Factory edition that comes with it. And I'll let you know if this new 4K transfer is worth the upgrade from that older copy or not. You'll get to see some comparison shots, so let's talk about it. Well, first I guess we'll talk about the packaging on the movie. It of course comes from Scream Factory, and you know, you get that cool Scream Factory artwork, and if you get it soon, you'll be able to get the cool Scream Factory slipcover. Really like this artwork on there. I think it's really awesome. I ordered mine from Scream Factory so I could get the poster. There's the back of it there. A lot of stuff. There's the spine. And you take the slipcover off and, you know, you got the artwork on there. It is reversible, and of course you got the original artwork from the other Blu-ray. I'll probably put that in there for now. And you get a little bit of discard on here. This is the Blu-ray there with the original and the new artwork on the 4K. And of course, if you ordered it from Scream Factory, they also send along, you know, a poster of the movie. And yeah, it's pretty awesome. It's really why I ordered it from Scream Factory. I did get it a little bit early. I think the official release date is December 7th. But yeah, that poster's awesome. Can't wait to get a frame for it and get it up on the wall. You only get the Naughty Cut when you order this movie. This movie only comes with the Naughty Cut. It does not come with the theatrical cut. The Naughty Cut is on both the Blu-ray and the 4K. The original theatrical cut is 1 hour and 37 minutes and 40 seconds. The Naughty Cut is 1 hour, 40 minutes and 20 seconds. So you're only getting a difference of about 2 minutes and 40 seconds. So what do you get for your 2 minutes and 40 seconds of Naughty Cut? I have no idea. I think there's some F-bombs dropped by the mom when she, you know, is talking to like the sort of mean aunt in the kitchen. I think she drops a bunch of F-bombs there that maybe weren't in the theatrical cut. But honestly, I couldn't tell the difference in the movies. It really seemed pretty much like the same cut to me. You're definitely not going to get a mind-blowing experience where it feels like a different movie. That's just not going to happen. If you know where these cuts are and you want to comment down below, then you can let me know. But having watched the original many times and having watched the new one, I don't know where it is. So the Naughty Cut's a cool title, but I think it has very little impact on this. Now you do get the Blu-ray along with this set, but I didn't look at the Blu-ray for comparison. And the reason is because this Blu-ray's been redone. You know, they took the transfer that's on the 4K disc and it's on the Blu-ray. So that Blu-ray is just a downgraded 4K down to 2K. And I did pop it in just to look at it and watch the special features. And it looks fantastic. The one I compared it with was this one here that you might have in your collection. This was just an older version that came out when the movie first came out. So I'll quickly talk about the movie a little bit. I'm not going to go into any major plot points or spoilers or anything like that. Just my overall thoughts and opinions on the movie. I'm a big fan of the movie. I know this movie's a little bit polarizing. Some people like it. Some people just thought it was too cheesy. You know, some people didn't love the ending, but there's so many things about this movie that I like that, you know, I just come back and watch it every single year. It's very high in rewatchability for me. I love the cast. I like the dysfunctional family because for the most part, most of them sort of redeem themselves throughout the movie. You know, the family kind of comes together, and I kind of like that. I mean, some of the family members start off as jerks and then sort of, you know, have some hero moments. I also love the look and feel of this movie. I mean, the holiday settings, this is a holiday movie for sure. I mean, you got Christmas music, decorations, the blizzard. Like, no matter how hot it is in your house, when you watch this movie, you kind of want to reach for a blanket, you know, because it just feels like a cold movie. Like, you feel the effects of that blizzard just coming through the screen. And I also appreciate the fact that they used a ton of practical effects in this movie. Some of the best special features on the disc are some of the making of, where they talk about how they brought Krampus to life. All the creatures, the gingerbread men, the elves, the Jack-in-the-Box, the, you know, teddy bear, the cherub that, you know, is a monster. I mean, so many monsters in this movie. And they're mostly done with animatronics, puppeteering, and they all look fantastic, and what a great job. The entire movie was shot on a soundstage, so the, you know, whole neighborhood was a 1/3 scale, you know, mock-up that they did, and just used different camera angles to make it look like full, you know, full-fledged houses. And even the houses were just giant boxes with painted fronts to them. You know, they go over all that in the special features. It's really cool the way they made this movie. This movie came out December 4th, 2015, had a budget of $15 million and ended up making $61.5 million on its theatrical run. The director of the movie was Michael Daughtry. Michael Daughtry also co-wrote this movie with Todd Casey and Zach Shields. And part of this movie's appeal to me was the cast. You know, I like that they had Adam Scott in there. I was a big fan of his from like Parks and Recreation, the TV show. And also David Koechner, who was Todd Packer in The Office. Another one of my favorite TV shows. And the story is basically, you know, this young kid makes a wish to Santa, but he gets so discouraged by his family and the fighting and everything that's going on that he ends up tearing up his letter to Santa, throwing it away, and that ends up summoning Krampus. He's sort of your anti-Santa. So the family must band together and somehow try to survive the night and fend off Krampus. And so now let's go ahead and start talking about some of the video of this movie. This movie has a 2.39 to 1 aspect ratio and was shot digitally. And it has a native 4K transfer to it. The HDR is Dolby Vision. Well, the one thing I can say about the video on here is that it looks really good. Problem is, it also looked really good on the Blu-ray. Neither one looked bad. And this was the older Blu-ray. That Scream Factory Blu-ray looks nearly as good as the 4K. You only really see just a little bit more detail, a little bit of a contrast in the darker tones and the lighter tones. And you could say that the 4K looks better, but the Blu-ray looks so good that I really don't think you could go wrong with your Blu-ray. I have several scenes here that I've tried to match up as best I could with the two discs. And as you can kind of see, it's pretty daggone close between these two. Like, you wouldn't watch that Blu-ray and be like, "Ooh, this thing looks like garbage," you know. Or this 4K is just so much better. I enjoyed the 4K and I enjoyed the Blu-ray. You know, there might just be a little bit more detail, a little bit better dark levels, a little more contrast, but it's not a great deal more. The Blu-ray's pretty good too. Now let's talk about the audio. Well, the audio from the Blu-ray was pretty good as it was. It had a DTS soundtrack that was really good, but this new Atmos track that they put on here is a bit better, but probably only if you have the right setup. The audio coming from the center channel speaker was just a little bit low. Normally I listen to it at a level of 55. I had to crank it up to about 60. before I felt like the dialogue was coming through as loud as it normally does with most other 4K titles. But then when the action started to happen, it would really, it was a wake the neighbors kind of moment. But that's fine with me. I usually let it rip anyway, and I didn't try to turn it down. There was just tons of atmospheric effects when they were outside. The wind would be, whipping around and howling and, blowing tree limbs and different things around. You had Krampus when he's like running from rooftop to rooftop. The subwoofer was really, bumping during that scene. And so anytime there was action, it was a full surround sound experience that was really, really nice. There were a few special moments as well. When, the Jack-in-the-Box was in the attic and started to crack the roof open, like the living room roof started to crack. All those sounds were coming from the height speakers, and it really did kind of sound like your ceiling was about to fall down. Also, whenever the little gingerbread men were shooting the nail gun, you got a lot of movement in the audio on that as well, as you heard the nails zoom by and then a loud thud, coming from your rear speakers when those nails start to hit the cutting board. But there was a lot of action, a lot of movement with a lot of the speakers during the action scenes. And overall, it was just a really immersive experience. Definitely an upgrade on what was already a really good audio track. So as far as special features go, they list a lot of new special features, but to be honest, none of them are really all that great. Most of them are just interviews that it looks like could have been a part of a single feature that was just cut into a whole bunch of little features, It made it look like they had a whole lot of new things on here, but honestly, they were all just very tiny, very quick, and not really that interesting or informative, in my opinion. Most of the really good features were the features that were already there, and those included like a lot of the making of featurettes, where they talk about the stunt work and the puppeteering and the miniatures and the stop motion and the animatronics and all the work that went into the movie. That to me was the most interesting stuff. It does have the alternative ending, but so did the original Blu-ray. The alternative ending isn't anything that's all that impressive either. And so now let's talk about the overall on this package. And do I think it's worth an upgrade? Of course, the 4K is going to be the best way to view this movie. That's almost always a given. But there's other things that come into effect as well. Scream Factory is very collectible. A lot of people love collecting these slipcovers, and they like collecting Scream Factory editions. So for the collector, of course you're going to want to pick it up. But if you don't care about that and you're just into the movie, that's where it gets a little tricky, because right now this is going to cost you, $30, $33 or $28. It's going to be close to $30 for this movie. You can pick up this copy for like $6, $10 at the most, maybe even less if you buy it used, and it looks fantastic. Not as good as the 4K, but still, it's fantastic, and it's so much cheaper. The special features really didn't sway me to the 4K either, because most of the good ones are on the Blu-ray. What did make me want to definitely pick this one is the fact that Dolby Atmos mix was fantastic. Problem is, most people don't have Dolby Atmos. Most people use a soundbar, and even soundbars that say they have Dolby Atmos isn't really going to give you the same listening experience as if you have in-ceiling speakers, which is really the way you should watch something in Dolby Atmos. I mean, at very least, you should have height speakers that fire down, or if not, overhead speakers, to really enjoy Dolby Atmos. And most people just don't have that. So for theater goers, for people who have home theater and that are home theater enthusiasts, or plan on getting some home theater equipment, of course the 4K is the way to go. But if you're just watching on a soundbar, and now that Dolby Atmos mix doesn't really come into play for the money, I kind of say go with the Blu-ray. So to recap, if you're a collector, if you're a home theater enthusiast, or you just want the best version possible without the consideration of money, then you should definitely upgrade or purchase the Naughty Cut of Krampus. But if you just like the movie and you're only listening to it on a soundbar and you don't really care about the collectible packaging, well, then there's absolutely nothing wrong with this Blu-ray. You're going to save a ton of money by going with the Blu-ray. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the review. If you did, do me a favor, hit that like button. And if you're unsubscribed to the channel, I invite you to subscribe to the channel. And as always, stay safe, have fun, keep watching those movies, and I'll see you on the next one.